Hello and welcome everyone to the latest Agile Boston podcast. I'm Joe DeAngelis, your host, and I'm here with our founder of Agile Boston and open space guru, Daniel Mezick. And Dan, this year we're doing something really exciting as part of Give Thanks for Scrum, our 16th annual. We are doing a morning open space meeting.
Yeah, and the theme is the future of Scrum with a big honking question mark at the end of it, right?
Yep, and that question mark is on purpose.
So yeah, so for those that might not have really know about open space, it's a whole group meeting that you don't have to attend. It has, in theory, it has a attractive theme, and that's why you go, is because you find that the theme attractive and you think it might be a good use of your time. That's the idea, right? So open spaces for organizations that are improving. It's a good idea to use it when no one person has the answer to a very hard problem. That's kind of where we are right now with Scrum, which is why we're bringing the open space to the idea of our conference this year. So what are the conditions for open space? You need a problem that no one person has the answer to. You need kind of a decision time or a kind of urgency, like we should have been working on this a long time ago. You want something with the potential for wide diversity of opinions. No, people have a lot of different feelings and beliefs about what's going on, right? And the last one is a potential for conflict, right? So if you don't have a really, really, really compelling theme or a really juicy topic that people care about, open space is not your meeting. But if you do have those things in place, then open space is really great. And that's why it's great for organizational development, which is its primary purpose and use. We're using it at the conference to deal with kind of Scrum at the crossroads. We all know that the Agile community and the Agile industry is under a period of transition right now. So what better time to inspect and reassess what's going on with Scrum, right?
Absolutely. I mean, it certainly addresses all four of those categories. There's certainly going to be a wide range of opinions. There's certainly opportunity for conflict because of that. But it's also something that we all care about deeply because it is going through a transition right now.
That's right. And that's why you go to an open space meeting, is because you actually care, right? So people who have heat around an issue love open space because there's a sort of an environment where you can actually express that heat, right? And that's what's so great about it. Joe, if you and I have a difference of opinion in open space, we can both walk away at any time.
Right.
So the only reason that we're continuing to have our debate is because we both consent to continuing it, right? So there's a very high level of mutual respect that goes on in open space. That's really cool.
So this is very important for the participants who are coming this year to understand that this is not just something that we do in large conferences, or something we're going to do in a more time-boxed way here at Give Thanks, where we're going to be doing it in the morning. So we are going to have a start time and we are going to have an end time. But this is something that you can learn how to do, and you can get practical experience at Give Thanks for Scrum and bring it back to your company and bring it back to your organization, especially if your organization is going through some sort of a crisis or some sort of a transformation or some sort of a pivot, and you want to get everyone engaged. You want to find out who are those right people that are going to lead you into that next phase. And open space is a really good idea, isn't it?
It is, and a really good way to bring it into an organization that's got an engineering function is to, say, every 3 months have what we might call a group retrospective. put it in open space, have all have the teams do their normal retros, but then every 3 months or so, take all the dependent teams and get them in one place, the 20, 15, 10 teams, whatever it is, get them in one place and get some syncing up and alignment around what's going to happen in the next 3 months. And that's a cool way to bring open space because you can just bill it as a retrospective.
Yeah.
It's nothing different. We're doing the same thing. We're just doing it at a group level every 3 months or so. And you'll be shocked at how good the level of conversation and collaboration, communication,
And engagement
actually is.
Especially if you actually act on what you learn in the retro in that open space and you act on it. And then you can come back 3 months and inspect on the actions that you've taken and the impact of those actions.
That's right. And that's what the proceedings are for. So the session, the open space session produces a tangible output, which is a document, typically a PDF, that contains all the notes and all the action steps that are recommended from each session throughout the day goes into one book. All right, that can become the basis for action going forward. So for example, if we brought 15 teams together, say there were 7 people on each of those teams, about 100 people, the book represents what 100 people thought about how we can improve. All right, we can go through some of that, and there's probably some actionable items in there that are very cheap to do that could have a big impact, right? We should go do those things.
And the people that brought up those ideas might be the emerging leaders in your organization that can take those things forward with your guidance as a leadership.
They usually are. In one organization where I brought open space, this woman came to the center. She was an Asian woman. She was, kind of small in stature, and she got the microphone. She had to kind of pull the microphone down, and she was kind of far away from the microphone, and she started to say her session, but it wasn't working. The audio wasn't there, and people were looking at me like, why aren't you managing this? Why aren't you fixing it? And I just waited. Somebody got up, and they took the microphone. They put their arms around her, and they took the microphone, and they put it a little closer to her. And then she said it. She said it in her small voice, amplified by the mic. And it was a session that just landed with the group in such a huge way that people started clapping, and there was like a standing ovation about the session because this really, soft-spoken person got up and spoke for the group, something that needed to be discussed in a big way. And in some way, she spoke for the group, and like more than half the people were over there during her session, and she did emerge as somebody who had something to say.
Yeah. Let's quickly just give everyone a heads up of what they should expect when they come in to an open space. So they're going to walk into the main room, and there's going to be a chairs set in a circle, or in our case, a semicircle. And there's going to be a bunch of paper sitting on the floor with some markers. There's going to be a marketplace up on the wall with locations and time slots. And, tell us briefly, what happens after that? What do people do after that?
Well, we assemble everyone. They convene in one place. We describe briefly what the rules of engagement are, the 5 principles. And then we go through the mechanics of actually putting a session on the wall. How do you put the session on the paper? How do you announce it to the group? Where does it go on the wall? And then what happens during your session? What are your responsibilities as a convener of that session? And the primary responsibility is to capture some notes, right? So they go in the book, they go in the proceedings. And we also discuss the things that you can and cannot do in open space. So the list of things you can do is almost infinite. And the list of things you can't do is 0, right? So in open space, you are responsible for your experience. So there's a fundamental law in open space that we'll discuss at the opening called the law of 2 feet.
Yes, very important.
The law basically states that if you're not getting the learning you were expecting to learn in that spot, or you're not contributing in a way that you find meaningful or useful, it's not a good use of your time. You're expected to, your get up and go should get up and leave and go somewhere else where you can get the learning and or the participation that you're looking for. And that's the law of 2 feet. So as the sessions are in play, there's different session times, like the first slot, second slot, third slot. There's multiple sessions happening. So if the one that you went to isn't what you expected, go to one that's maybe more interesting to you, right?
Sure.
So we discuss all that stuff in the opening, and then people announce their sessions. Then we declare the marketplace open, and the sessions begin. So I think there'll be 30 minutes, and there'll be 3 of those at least.
Maybe even 4, depending on how many sessions people come
Yeah,
up with.
yeah, maybe 4. So people can expect probably 20 sessions to choose from in the open space across 3 or 4 time slots.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Over the morning session. And then we
Yeah.
come back in the end and we share our experiences. And again, this is an opportunity where you can share if you like. If you don't have anything to share, you don't have to. But we give everyone an opportunity to share, what they learned, what they felt, what they were surprised about. A lot of times people will say, gee, I never was part of this. This is really amazing. Or I came in thinking this thing was crazy, and now I want to do this every week. We've heard everything like that. And then we wrap up. We're going to be keeping notes and artifacts, collecting them all from all of the breakout sessions that we have during the morning open space. And everyone attending is going to get a copy of those things. So whatever great tidbits that you heard in your own breakout sessions or in other breakout sessions that you couldn't attend, you're going to be able to get all of those artifacts, and hopefully you're going to find some things that can help you as a personally, but also help you professionally and help your companies.
It's wild to talk about the principles of open space, right? So there's 5 of them. There were originally 4, but then Harrison Owen, the co-creator, he added a 5th. I'm going to name this one first, which is wherever it happens is the right place. Your space might not be perfect, but that day it's perfect for you, actually, because wherever it happens is the right space, right? Second thing is whoever comes are the right people, right? So the people who come to the session, they're the people who are the right people, and the people who come to the whole event, those are the people that want to be there. They're the right people too, right? So the right people are the people that want to be there. And if they're there, it's because they want to be in open space. Whoever comes are the right people. Third one is whenever it starts is the right time. So the normal rules of punctuation are suspended in open space. This means it could start earlier, it could start later. This goes for the meeting, this goes for the session itself. And it's interesting when you go to a large open space, people are going to be milling around. They're going to be having a little bit of coffee or a donut or something. And some people are sitting down, some are standing up. Then more people are sitting down. Then the sponsor comes in, and some of the other dignitaries come in, and higher ups, and some of them are standing and they're sitting. And then after a while, more people are sitting than are standing. And then everyone's sitting, and it's still loud. Everyone's talking. And what I advise the sponsors to do is just wait. Don't make a signal like it's time to start. Just wait. And what happens is the whole group, the volume just cycles down. It just goes, and they just get quiet. Whenever it starts is the right time, right? That's what that's all about.
Mm.
And then the fourth one, whatever happens is the only thing that could happen. It's true in your life. It's true in world history. It's true right now on this call, right? Whatever happens is the only thing that can happen.
That's right. I mean, we're not coming in with a set agenda, just a really compelling theme. So whatever comes up in people's minds that they want to talk about, that's what we're going to talk about. Whoever shows up for those breakout sessions, those are the ones who are going to, contribute to that.
Exactly. And whatever happens is the only thing that can happen. And then the fifth one is when it's over, it's over. So
Right.
sometimes it ends early. Sometimes, if you're in a space and the conversation's hot, the next group of people are coming into the space, we all get up and we take it to some temporary space and we keep going, right? So when it's not over yet. So when it's over, and that's how that works. So the open space idea is a self-organized, self-managing idea. And Joe, it's important also for us to let the listeners know that Jeff Sutherland himself has committed to being there in the morning.
And David West.
And David West. So you can be rub elbows with David West and Jeff Sutherland and everyone else who's there in the morning and have a down low conversation with Jeff himself and Dave, who's the CEO of Ken Schwaber's company, Scrum
Yep.
Board, right? So.
Yeah. Plus we have, authors like Patricia Kong, who's going to be there. Darrell Hernandez, who's a business executive, is going to be there. We're going to be announcing more special guests. So it's not going to just be, just people, normal people, I'd say, but people who have made an impact. Dan, you and I are going to be part of the session as well.
Yep.
We might be walking into your breakout sessions as well. So we're also going to have a special guest speaker, Ryan Ripley, co-author of Fixing Your Scrum. He's going to be virtually Zooming in and leading a breakout session during the open space as well. So it's going to be a great opportunity to rub elbows with some people that have really made an impact in the industry and start talking to them about the future of Scrum.
Yeah, and there's two notable coaches from the Boston area that will be there. One is Dan LaFave, who's he was the first certified Scrum coach in New England, and he's got like over 20 years experience at Scrum at scale. And then also Yuval Uret, who's notable for his work with Kanban, his work with scaled agility, and he's another guy that will be there. So there's a really nice group of people who are coming to the open space, and of course, Donald Trump won't be there, and
you never
Kamala
know.
Harris,
You never
Kamala
know.
Harris won't be there, but I wanted to sneak in a way sideways to
Yeah,
somebody's
yeah,
name. So there you
that
go.
would be funny if we can get him to come, right?
Yeah, and I want to say one more sort of curious thing about open space because we're almost at the end of our time now, right, on this on this episode. People who facilitate open space talk shop about like, how do you do it? How do I do it? What are some of your stories? And I saw Harrison Owen once do this thing, and he talked to me about it afterwards. Let's say we're finishing up and we only have 20 minutes, or let's say we have 15 minutes for everyone to go around. So we're going to give everyone the microphone. You get the microphone, you can say what you like about what you experienced, or you can pass to the next person. Everyone's in the circle. If you tell them, hey, listen, we've only got 15 minutes and then the hotel's going to throw us out, so we got 15 minutes, we're going to go all the way around in the circle with the microphone. Here you go. So you hand it to the first person and it's going this way. And then it'll come around. The most curious thing is at the stroke of 15 minutes, the microphone will show up on the other side. Without any prompting or anything like this, the people self-manage the time box, and you send it this way, and then 15 minutes later, boom, you got it.
Right. Yeah.
It's really interesting.
It really is, but it's a good lesson for us that, we know a lot more than we think we do. We're a lot more accountable than we think we are. So really, so I'm really excited about this. I think it's going to be a little different, but it's a good opportunity to generate more engagement, more interaction, more collaboration of thought. And also Dr. Sutherland and Dave West, when they give their presentations in the afternoon, they are going to tailor those presentations to what they learned in the morning open space.
That's right, Joe. Yeah.
They're going to talk about they're going to talk about something that you all care about because you brought it up in the morning. And that's also a great thing. And then we'll have our traditional Q&A panel at the end before we wrap up. So looking forward to it. That's Tuesday before Thanksgiving, November 26th. at 5 Wayside Drive, the Microsoft building in Burlington, Massachusetts. Tickets are available. You can go to the agileBoston.org website and look under Give Thanks for Scrum, and you can find out all the information, the schedule, the speakers, and of course, where to buy tickets. And Dan, I'm looking forward to seeing you there. And thank you very much for taking the time to talk about open space today.
Thank you, Joe. It's always a pleasure. Thanks for doing this.
Okay, everyone, take care until next time.